And it is the first of my guests today. I'm so lucky to have two amazing artists on the show today. And the first one that I'm going to be talking to today is Neon She. She's got a brand new track out called Seasons, which we've been playing out on the show, which I absolutely love. And she's over in Japan. So good evening.
Good evening, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me. Nice to meet you.
I must just have to say you must check her out online because your socials are so beautiful. I mean,
Oh,
seen such,
really?
never seen such shows. They are so beautiful, so well put together. You've got an
Oh,
amazing voice as well. First off, whereabouts in Japan are you?
I am in Kyoto.
All right.
I'm in Kyoto. I don't know if you've ever been.
No, but I do follow abroad in Japan, Chris Broad.
Oh,
I
yes,
I
love him.
follow him
He's
for years,
fabulous.
and one of my friends went there, but he goes around all the different areas, and so I have watched loads of the video. It's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I only visited Kyoto once before. So I was living in Tokyo to start, and then I came to Kyoto on a girls' holiday with one of my besties, and I never thought I'd live here, but now I do. I really, really love it. It's just so relaxed. The people are so chill. It's a really nice paced life, I really enjoy it.
So you're originally from the UK, and what
I
made
am.
you? Was there a job that you went out to do, or is it because the music out there is different? What was it that made you want to really be there?
So I originally went to Japan on holiday to go see Owl City live, who's like one of my favorite musicians ever. And I was on the airplane, and even before I'd landed, I saw the mountains, I saw all of this untouched nature, and I was like, I'm gonna want to live here. I feel it already. And lo and behold, I just loved it. I traveled around a bit and I really enjoyed it. And so 6 months later, I just got myself the working holiday and then I was gonna stay for like 6 months, and then 6 months turned into 3 years, and and I came back to England for just under 2 years, where me and my now husband, we went back to England, we got married, and then we ended up coming back to Kyoto. And as I said, it's great. It's just such a lovely place to live.
I can't believe you said you're married. I know I'm getting old because I'm looking at you thinking she can only be about 16. And I'm looking at
No,
you thinking, you can't, I wish you're saying she got married before. This is how old I'm getting. It's when policemen start looking young and doctors and stuff. That's when I know. When did you first discover your voice? What instruments do you play? Did you start maybe on piano or guitar, or was it the voice that came first?
I think it was the voice that came first. I definitely dabbled. I remember my dad telling me stories about how I would just like strum his guitar like with the guitar like just flat on my lap. And then but I've always dabbled with piano as well. I've always had like pianos around me, but I kind of got discovered by one of my music teachers when I was learning the recorder, and she was like, "Oh, let's we're gonna do some solos now. So if you want to sing," and I was like, "I want to do it, I want to do it," and then I did it, and they were like, "Oh, she can sing," and so they like told my mom, and she was like, "Does she want to like do this?" And so anyway, my mom kind of took the reins and was like, okay, we're gonna try and get you into all of this stuff. And so I ended up getting some singing lessons and doing loads of instrumental lessons, and I just threw myself at it. And I'm really, really grateful that I learned at such a young age that I loved it, because it's just meant that I can just do it all the time. So I'm really, really glad for that.
Tell us about the songwriting process. So, are you somebody that's always jotting down a bit of poetry, or do you start writing and then the lyrics and the melody come out, or is it different every time?
It's different every time. I think I ask this to other musicians as well, and they pretty much always say it's different every time. Like I will be like walking around or just doing something really random, and then it will just go pop in my head, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I've got to write that down, and I'll either like sing it into my phone, or if I'm at home, I'll like make a little demo on my laptop, or if more recently actually I've been sitting writing at the piano again, which is how I started songwriting. Um, and I've gone back to that recently, which has been really nice. It's a really different style of writing, I feel, because I think when you're presented with many drum beats and many instruments through MIDI, you can just the possibilities are really endless. But when you're just writing with a piano, it's very different, isn't it? Because you only have the one, well, the two instruments, I suppose, to make something. I enjoy it. I'm gonna try and write more with the piano recently.
And do you hear the full song? Because some musicians do, and they hear the drums, and they can hear the horn parts and the guitar. Or does it not work like that for you? Or do you?
Yeah. No, I absolutely do. I really hear, or well, a lot of the elements, but honestly, it always turns out completely different than it is in my head. It's weird. Like you can have a vision of it, but then it never comes out that way. But as long as I'm happy with it, that's all that I really care about in the moment.
I love asking this next question.
Mm.
It is, do you ever feel a song is gifted to you from the universe because it comes through so quickly that you're like, I feel like I didn't write that, but you know that you have?
I love that question. I've never been asked anything like that. Um, Absolutely, like 100%. I had this discussion with a guy many, many years ago, and he put it to me like this, like the ideas come down and like land on your head, and then they like come down into the rest of your soul, and then the music comes out. And I was like, that is such a good way of putting it, because it is kind of like that. It's like the song just goes pew, 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 and then you can just like write it down. But yeah, especially some songs. I would say even Seasons, like the song that I'm promoting right now, that was very much like that. It was a very spiritual song for me, because it was written in just such a short amount of time, and it flowed so easily. Sometimes I don't even know where those songs come from.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because some songs are a struggle and some songs just flow. They just
Yes.
um what's the best lyric? This is the time to big yourself up. It's the best lyric you've ever written that you just went, oh, I've just written that. That's really good. Because I think all musicians have that moment where they go, that is really good. I'm writing that down. I
Mm.
am literally like Paul McCartney. So what
I
lyric is it
can't
for you?
say. I don't think I've ever thought that before, but I still don't know the answer to this question, but I really like the lyrics in Seasons. It says, "It was no surprise that it all looked the same, but I was looking through new eyes." And I think that's something that everyone goes through at a different period of their life, like going back to somewhere that they knew so well and had such a clear image of, but then when they view it at a different time frame or a different period of their life, it's so different. And I also liked the lyric, "I take a step back and breathe in fresh air and realize all I need is already there." And it's kind of about meditation and about like perspective, and just realizing that you have everything you need. You are powerful enough. You are so powerful, and it's kind of about harnessing that power and allowing you to be your best version because of it.
I was just going to ask you, this is a bit of a random question. Do you like
Hmm.
ASMR? Are you a fan of
So
ASMR?
ASMR, you know what? Sometimes I do. Why do you ask?
I just thought you might be.
Okay.
I thought because of the sounds, I love it. I watch loads of ASMR. It's auto sensory rhythm response, and it's all different
Mm,
sounds, isn't it? And there's scratchy sounds and clicking sounds. And I just wondered if
yes.
you relaxes you. It relaxes me.
Yeah, I do. I do. And I also like to just listen. I think it's kind of similar, but a bit different, like background noise. Like if it's just like a fire, like I'll quite often like just like I'll plug my laptop into my television and I'll just have like a fire going on the television or something with the little crackling, and it just makes me feel so cozy. But I
Yeah.
know what you mean. Like I love listening to like people with long fingernails like tap plastic, like stuff like that.
People out there are
Yeah,
going to
I
think
just
we're
really get
weird,
it.
but don't worry.
Yeah,
Once you get into it, you'll be fine. Tell
you've
us
just got
about
to
your
embrace it.
yeah, embrace it. Embrace the clicky noises like that. Uh, tell us about your style because people will see when they listen again up on the website. But I love the color pink, and you've got my favorite color hair, which is pink as well, light pink. Is that your whole kind of? Because you also wear the beautiful Japanese
Mm,
outfits as well, and I forgot the name
mm.
of the one that you tie round. What's that one called?
Kimonos.
That's it, yeah. So was that something that happened to you? Were you already kind of into that kind of look before you went to Japan, or did you really sort of grow into it more once you arrived?
You know what? Growing up, I've I was such a girly girl. Like I had a Barbie themed bedroom. I had like Barbie curtains, Barbie bed sheets. Like I was so into that. And then after that, I think I had like a bang on the door phase of like groovy chick. And then again, I had like groovy chick curtains and groovy chick bedding. And I've gone through a few different phases. And I think when I was a student, I definitely stepped away. When I was like at university, I stepped away from that a lot. I was doing more like rock music and bands, and it was much more like grungy and dark, and I had a few more piercings in my face, and that was such a fun era, but totally different. And I think as I've gotten older, I've just wanted to be more of a kid, and I've just embraced all of the things that I love as a child more and more. And so because of that, I've just really sank back into loving pink. And I've always loved pink, but now pink is my lifestyle, like completely. I'm obsessed. And so I guess it's always been there, and I've dabbled, but now I'm yeah. And as for the kimonos, I have been fascinated by it for a long time. I think they're so beautiful. And I remember the first time I tried one on and I felt like a princess. And I was just like, this is the best. And I'm really lucky now because actually, some of my girlfriends here in Japan, they are professionals at wearing kimonos. So I've learned how to do it through them, and they've taught me how to do it. So I'm just practicing at every moment I can because I want to be able to wear them with all like the blingy stuff. Like I can do very simple stuff right now, but I want to have like all of the cool all yeah, like I don't know the terminology, like I don't know the kimono jargon, but I really want to just be really glamorous and glitzy and princess like all the time.
And I
But
must say,
yeah.
I do love your style, and I love the headphones you're wearing. If I could have those at the studio, I'd be
Thank
very happy because they've got
you.
little ears on them.
Yeah, and they actually light up as well.
Oh,
If
right.
I Yeah, I can't plug them in right now because the cord's not long enough,
Yeah,
but this whole thing like is a rainbow, so that's pretty
I
cute.
think I might have to get some for the studio actually.
I'll send you a link afterwards. I'll send you a
Thank you.
link.
I definitely need them. Now, we're going to talk about seasons in a second, but I'd like to do a quick fire round. So you've got to answer these questions as quickly as possible without
Oh my
thinking
God.
them too much. Okay, so quick
Okay.
fire round. Hopefully, I'll manage to get these out. So, tea or coffee?
Tea.
Sad songs or happy songs?
Happy songs.
What was the first song you ever wrote? What was it called?
It was called I Am a Hummingbird when I was 6.
Who makes you laugh?
My dad.
When you write songs, do you write your best work when you're happy or sad, or it doesn't matter?
Ooh, sad. Is that depressing? It's kind of true.
What's your birth sign?
Gemini.
What's your best trait?
My best trait is that I love animals.
And what's your worst trait?
My worst trait is I'm quite sensitive.
What do you do when you're not doing music?
I am hanging out with my husband and my guinea pigs.
Oh, how many guinea pigs have you got?
I have three daughters, and they're all really cute and fluffy.
Are they pink by any chance?
I wish they were pink, but I don't think they'd be happy if I did that.
No, I don't. Probably not. No, no. So tell us about seasons because we're going to end the interview with your track. Is it out today? Is
No,
it
it's been out. When did it come out? Like a couple of weeks ago.
right?
But yeah, so I actually am doing an album,
Yes.
and this was the third song of the album, and I've got my final single coming out at the end of this month. It's called Never Let It Go. But Seasons, I really wanted to have this one on the album because it was such a pivotal point in my life. I wrote this nearly a decade ago. It's quite an old song, but I was currently recovering. Oh, sorry, I was at the time recovering from like some mental health issues, and it was a really, yeah, transformative time. And so I wanted to have it on the album and as a single, as a kind of message to anybody who might need it, anyone who's going through it, if anyone knows anyone who's going through some struggle, you're not alone. And as I said earlier, like you are so powerful. And learn how powerful you are and you work through your issues, it's so worth it. And so I really think that spreading a positive message through music is such an important thing if you can do that. And the upcoming album is all about transformation. It's called Butterfly, and basically it's my first body of work that shows the story of my life. It's my second album, and it shows from the beginning of when things kind of got a little bit rough to me today, which is a much more healed version. And it paints a picture of my childhood and takes you through the twists and turns of my life all the way to present day. And it's a reminder that healing is not a straight line. It is up and down. We may stumble, but at the end of the day, when you have resilience, you are able to transform into a butterfly and into the best version of yourself. So that is Seasons and Butterfly.
I really love that. I like that. Healing is not a straight line. I've written that down. That's
No,
fabulous.
it's not.
But it's fabulous to actually hear you talk about it. And I've written that down. That's a beautiful line. So
Thank
Butterfly
you.
will be out. It's your second album. You
My
are
second.
amazing on your socials. You're mostly on Instagram. Are you on TikTok you're on TikTok as well, aren't you?
I am on TikTok, but I'm just not as familiar. I'm gonna try my best though for
Mm.
all the TikTokers out there. I'm gonna try and get better.
Yeah, it's completely different. All of the things, because Facebook is different to Instagram, different to TikTok.
Yeah, yeah,
People
yeah.
out there, if you like independent music and you want to support independent music, is if you listen to any of the interviews, I always put up the links for the artists, and a like, a comment, a share costs you nothing. And if you really like a musician, you can go and download their albums or go on things like Bandcamp or go to the websites and actually pay for music. And I know that seems like a really strange thing for people now in the days where we've got
Mm,
Spotify and iTunes, but it does mean that people can carry on making music, because as an independent, it's a hard thing, isn't it, to make
yeah.
a living from music, because people don't seem to want people to get paid for doing what they love to do.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? This industry.
It is,
Mm.
and we do love the streams. They're amazing, but it's also nice if you have you got physical copies of any of your stuff? You got merchandise, have you?
I have merchandise. I have a shop where I sell like t-shirts and bags and all kind of organic, eco-friendly products, and all unisex as well. I also have a book that I'm writing and will be out with the album. And at the moment, I'm releasing a chapter at a time with every single. It's called The Star Mindset, and it's a guide to wellness along with my story.
Oh wow, that's amazing! God, you're so busy, so young, so busy, and married. I never would have thought. I never would have thought. She's got a beautiful face, and I love your hair color. She's got that beautiful little
Thank
bob's hair,
you.
and very
Oh,
pale pink.
I'm blushing.
Yeah,
Stop.
that's why I don't have the camera on in, because I am too beautiful to have the camera on in the studio. That's why I have to turn it off.
No, you're
Now,
so beautiful.
that is it's amazing to talk to you. I've loved playing your music, and I can't wait to hear the album and make sure you send the next song. So, would you like to
Thank you.
introduce your song? This is the end of the interview, by the way.
Ah,
Lovely
I
to meet
would.
you. Yep.
Lovely to meet you too. And also, just before we end, I just want to say congratulations on your new song, World Happy. I listened to it today. I love it. It's a bop, and I've had it in my head ever since I've listened to it. So
Oh, oh,
congratulations.
thank you very much, lovely. That's gorgeous. Thank you.
So this is my latest single. It's called Seasons. I hope that you will love it. And if you do love it, please go check me out online on Instagram, TikTok, wherever. Neon She. Thank you so much. Mwah!
Thank you.
I went back to the places